You are innocent until proven guilty. This video is to advise you of your rights and what is expected of you while you are incarcerated in this facility. Pay attention to this video.
While in the Madera County Jail, you will find the men and women of the Madera County Department of Corrections are committed to providing quality professional correctional services to you and the citizens of Madera County. It is their charge to provide a safe and secure work and living environment for staff, citizens, and inmates, and to ensure that all persons placed in our charge are treated lawfully, humanely, and professionally, and in a manner that instills confidence throughout our facility and communities.
You have entered a no hostage facility. Employees will not recognize hostages for bargaining purposes or permit inmates or others to use hostages to escape from custody. This video has been produced to answer some of your questions concerning the jail's procedures and to inform you of your responsibilities while in custody. As part of your initial supply of items, you received a copy of the Inmate Orientation Reference Sheet. Please refer to your reference sheet as a source of information concerning your rights while in custody. Wristbands. You have already been booked and or given an identification wristband at time of booking. The wristband you're wearing includes your criminal history number or CH number, name, and your date of birth. You will be required to use these numbers when completing request slips and various other jail forms. You will also be required to show your wristband in order to receive your mail, medication, commissary, meals, and when being transported to and from court. Do not tamper with your wristband. If your wristband becomes worn, torn, or faded, notify an officer immediately so that it can be replaced. After booking, you were placed in a dress-out cell where you received your jail clothing. You must wear this attire while in custody. You also received a welfare bag containing a toothbrush, toothpaste, razor, and soap. Your personal items were taken and put in storage and will be given back to you when you are released from custody. Any money that you came in with has been deposited into your account via a kiosk. This same type of kiosk is available to the public every day of the week so that your family and friends can deposit funds in your account. While in custody, you will be able to purchase commissary or post cash bail with these funds. During the booking process, you will be entitled to 3 phone calls. If you are hearing impaired or calling someone who is, a TDD machine will be made available to you. If you are a foreign national, you will be given the opportunity to contact your consulate. Classification. The booking officer that interviews you regarding your classification will determine your housing assignment based upon your answers to their classification questions, such as your gang affiliation, criminal history, and any previous history you may have had while incarcerated. At this time, you will also have an opportunity to place up to 10 visitors on your visiting list. After your housing assignment is determined, you will receive a module card. You must carry this card whenever you are being sent out of or going to your housing unit. The module card lists your housing information and personal information and will be requested by jail staff for identification and routing purposes. When you leave the intake and booking area, you will proceed to the main security hallway. When you get to your assigned housing module, an officer will meet you where you will be searched again. The officer will ask for your module card and verify your assignment, check your wristband, and you will be issued the necessary clothing and bedding for that module. Housing changes and policy schedules are made periodically. You will be advised of any changes by one of the Classification Services Unit officers or your module officer. DNA testing. At time of booking and due to the state of California's Proposition 69, you may be required to submit to a DNA test. The submitted test will be taken via a sample of your saliva. Upon request from the Department of Justice, a blood sample may also be drawn. Visiting. At booking, you were given the opportunity to place 10 names on your visiting list. They are the only ones allowed to visit you. You may change or add names to your visiting list by making this request to your module officer. The module officer can delete or add to your visiting list if time permits. You will be required to place the names of your minor children on your list. Accommodations will be made for disabled visitors. Personal items such as cameras, video recording equipment, and cell phones will not be allowed in visiting areas. Inappropriate behavior by inmates or visitors will result in the immediate termination of the visit and possible loss of visiting privileges. Your family members or friends may visit you every day of the week between the hours of 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock a.m., 12:30 to 2 o'clock p.m., and 3:30 to 4 o'clock p.m. Inmates are allowed 2 30-minute visits per week. All visits are non-contact. Visits may randomly be monitored for purposes of jail security. Visits between you and your attorney, religious advisor, or physician are considered privileged communications and will not be monitored or recorded and are not limited. Video arraignment. The Madera County Department of Corrections may use video arraignment to expedite your court proceedings. When you are being arraigned directly in front of a judge or through video arraignment, it will be in your best interest to pay close attention to the admonishment issued by the judge. Cell assignment. After all of your items have been checked, the officer will route you to your assigned housing area. That is where you will be living until you are released from custody or transferred to another facility. Double bunking. When incarcerated in this facility, you may be assigned to share a cell or dorm with one or more other inmates. Should you have a problem with another inmate, contact the module officer immediately. Remember, this is an adult facility. We expect you to act as one. Clothing. Whenever you are out of your assigned housing area or attending visits and programs, your jail clothing is to be worn so that it completely covers your entire body. Your jail-issued shorts may be worn inside the housing module and the recreation yards only. For modesty's sake, female inmates are required to wear a t-shirt and a bra under their clothing whenever they are out of their cells. Cell rules. All rules, as well as any orders given to you by any jail staff member, must be obeyed. The rules have been established for your safety and protection. If you violate the rules, a rule violation, disciplinary action, and/or criminal prosecution can result. A list of inmate rules are available in the Inmate Orientation Reference Sheet. Some of the general rules are as follows. Do not hang or attach items to the doors, walls, or bunks. Curtains and tents are prohibited. Do not cover the windows, vents, or lights. You are not permitted to wash, dry, or hang clothing in the common areas of the housing unit. Your laundry will be picked up and washed on a regular basis. Any unauthorized item found hanging in your cell will be treated as contraband and may be confiscated or destroyed or seized as evidence. Cell doors and all locking mechanisms are not to be tampered with at any time. Your bed should be made any time you are not in it, and your cell will be neat and orderly at all times. Any extra clothing issued to you is to be maintained properly and is not to be altered. Any extra clothing found in your cell other than that which was issued to you will be considered contraband. Day room rules. Do not sit or loiter on the stairs, rails, upper tier walkways, or day room tables. If at any time an officer instructs you to lock down, you must return to your cell or dorm immediately and get on your bunk. This must be done immediately and without question. There are several off-limit areas within your housing module, such as the officer's desk when the officer is away conducting business. At no time may an inmate go behind the officer's desk. Another off-limit area is the visiting area unless you are in a visit. Shouting or yelling and banging on windows, walls, and doors is prohibited. All cells are equipped with an emergency call button to be used for emergency purposes only. You should know that if you are involved in a conflict that results in a physical altercation with another inmate or staff member, you will be charged with assault, and additional charges can be filed up to and including a felony strike. First and foremost, be respectful of others. This includes jail staff and inmates. Treat all persons the way you would like to be treated. Be aware that you will now be living in a closed area with people of different temperaments and personalities. Be courteous at all times. Again, you are an adult in an adult facility, and you are expected to act as such. Contraband. Any item not specifically bought by you or issued to you is considered to be contraband. Likewise, if an item has been modified or altered in a manner for which it was not originally intended, it will be considered contraband. If an item is seized as contraband, you will be written up, and the item will either be destroyed or used as evidence for prosecution against you. Rule violation reports. If you violate any of the jail rules, the jail staff may complete a rule violation report. You will be provided with a copy of the report and may request a hearing at that time. A hearing will be held within 72 hours after the violation was presented to you. You will have an opportunity to be interviewed by a hearing officer and have the right to call witnesses on your behalf before a final recommendation for discipline is made. Disciplinary action will vary depending on the violation and requires approval of the watch commander. If you are found guilty, you can be placed in disciplinary segregation, lose privileges, lose good time or work time earned if you are sentenced, have additional charges filed against you, or have money removed from your account to pay for damages. You have the right to appeal disciplinary actions using the grievance process. Disciplinary grievances are limited to issues concerning procedures or violations of your rights, not the outcome of the discipline. Grievance procedure. You may grieve any condition of confinement by requesting a grievance form from your module officer. The grievance should be submitted within a reasonable amount of time from the date of occurrence. A response to the grievance will be provided within a reasonable amount of time. The grievance process must be completely exhausted before any further legal action can be initiated. Medical grievances are limited to issues regarding timely and adequate care, not medications or the type of care. The final results of a grievance may not be grieved. The jail will not accept grievances against arresting agencies, judges, courts, or other correctional facilities. Grievances are to be based on one issue per grievance and are to include no attachments. Be brief, clear, and specific when describing your complaint. Inmates filing repetitive, cumulative, or frivolous grievances may have their rights to filing grievances restricted. Personal hygiene. You are reminded that you are living in a closed area with others, and personal cleanliness is of utmost importance. You are encouraged to take advantage of your scheduled shower opportunities. Haircuts. Hair clippers are available from the module officers during your regular program times and upon availability. Laundry and clothing exchange. You will be held responsible for the safekeeping and proper use of your entire clothing, bedding, and linen issue. All clothing and linen will be exchanged and laundered on a regular basis. On the day that your module's laundry is done, all clothing that you want washed is to be placed in one of the net clothing bags and placed outside your cell door. The clothing bag will be picked up, washed, dried, and returned in the same bag. Remember, you will not be allowed to program in the day room area without being fully dressed, nor will you be allowed to eat in the day room or have visits without wearing jail-issued top and bottom garments. You will be held accountable for all county property issued to you. If you damage or destroy any county property such as clothing or footwear, you will be assessed the cost of replacement and/or repair. Responsibility for the damage will be assessed at the time of the disciplinary hearing when possible. When released from the custody of the Madera County Department of Corrections, you will be held accountable for all items that were issued to you. If you do not have sufficient funds in your account, a negative balance will accrue until such time when money has been deposited into your account. Assigned kitchen workers will exchange clothing on a daily basis. If you require a clothing exchange, you may make a request to the module officer. Place the items to be exchanged in the module laundry bag, and the module officer may exchange the item. This is a one-for-one exchange only. Cells and dorms. You and your cellmates will be held equally responsible for any damage or contraband found in your cell. If you are assigned to a housing unit with individual cells, you are prohibited from entering any cell other than your own. If there is any pre-existing damage to the cell, It is your responsibility to report it to the module officer. Commissary. If you have funds in your account, you may order commissary weekly. Items that you can order include food, personal hygiene products, white canvas shoes, and special meals that may be offered on Sundays. Commissary requests must be filled out and turned in by 11 o'clock p.m. on Sunday nights, or the order will not be filled. When you request a welfare kit, you will be assessed a charge of $1.45. This amount is subject to change depending on cost. If you do not have sufficient funds in your account, a negative balance will accrue until such time when money has been deposited into your account. Welfare bags include soap, razor, toothbrush, toothpaste, writing paper, and 2 postage-paid envelopes. To receive a welfare bag, fill out a commissary draw form, check the box for welfare bag, and turn it in with the module's commissary slips on the assigned day. Excessive commissary may be deemed a security risk and may be confiscated. Inmates on commissary restrictions for disciplinary reasons will not be eligible to order or receive commissary during their disciplinary term. You can have a commissary order sent to you by family and friends via an online service that is provided by our contracted food service provider. There may be additional fees associated when using this service. Contact information is available in your module. Mail. There is no limitation on the volume of mail that you may send or receive. You may receive 2 postage-paid envelopes per week for personal use by filling out a commissary slip and requesting a welfare bag. Your address while in custody will be as follows: Madera County Department of Corrections, 14191 Road 28, Madera, California, 93638. You must include first and last name, CH number, and housing location. You may correspond confidentially with state and federal courts, legal representative, consular officials, parole and probation officers, director or the sheriff, news media, or elected officials. All mail will be opened and inspected for contraband, checks, and money orders. Mail may be screened for the purpose of uncovering criminal activity, gang affiliation, and randomly screened by jail staff in the interest of security. All letters mailed or received by inmates may be screened for any communications that may be deemed to pose a threat to facility, security or staff, inmate or public safety, and may be confiscated. All legal mail will be opened in front of the inmate and inspected for contraband. Mail received that contains any of the following items will be considered contraband, and the entire envelope may be confiscated and returned to the sender. Items such as postage stamps, stickers, or envelopes, Polaroid photos, obscene photos, nude photographs, and sex-based publications, messages containing codes, any material that encourages or describes physical harm, violations of the law, or breaches of security, tattoo patterns, gang logos or drawings, gang-related writing and photos of any illegal gang activity. No jewelry of any type, no lipstick, hair, food, tobacco, lighter, or matches. It is your responsibility to inform those of whom you correspond with of the jail's policy of acceptable material. The only acceptable items are as follows: magazines, newspapers, and paperback books if mailed directly from the publisher. No hardbound books will be accepted. Postcards and greeting cards which cannot be blank. Greeting cards and postcards may not be larger than 5 by 7 inches or contain glitter or any type of sound-making devices. Newspaper clippings and/or articles in reasonable amounts. No more than 10 photographs per letter, and photographs may not be larger than 5 by 7 inches. No Polaroid photos will be accepted. Only official money orders and cashier checks addressed to you will be deposited into your account. The money orders and cashier's checks must be payable in your name. A money receipt with the deposit amount and your new balance will be placed in the envelope and be forwarded to you. Personal checks, cash, and credit cards are not accepted and will be returned to the sender. Telephone access. All inmates will have access to the telephones in their assigned housing units during regular program times on a daily basis. A TDD machine, or a telecommunications device for the deaf machine, can be made available for use by hearing impaired inmates or calling someone who is hearing impaired. Inmate telephone calls may be randomly monitored for purposes of jail security. Medical services. You have the right to medical, dental, and mental health care. To request an appointment, completely fill out a medical dental request form and place it into the medical health box or turn it in to the nurse on duty. You will be charged a $3 payment for medical services when you have initiated a medical visit or examination. If you do not have sufficient funds in your account, a negative balance will accrue until such time when money has been deposited into your account. Under no circumstances will you be refused any necessary services due to having insufficient funds. You may receive a TB skin test at no cost. Within 14 days of incarceration, you will receive a cost-free health inventory and PPD if deemed necessary. The nurse will discuss any medical problems with you at that time. A nurse dispenses medication 2 to 4 times a day. The nurse cannot give you any medication unless it has been ordered and approved. To receive medication, you are required to stand at your cell door with a cup of water, show your wristband to the nurse, take all the medications in front of the nurse, be present for your medication. If your medication is ordered for a specific time, it is your responsibility to be present to receive your medication. If you choose not to get up, you will not be offered the medication later in the day. Medical staff does not order vegetarian diets or special clothing. Hoarding, storing, or trading medication is a violation of jail rules. Any excess medication is considered to be contraband and will be confiscated. Inappropriate use of medications may result in the discontinuation of receiving medication. Mental health services. The facility offers 24-hour crisis intervention services. All information and psychiatric records obtained in the course of obtaining mental health services are confidential. If you suffer from depression or emotional problems, or are currently receiving medication from a psychiatrist, or need crisis intervention counseling, you are encouraged to contact the medical department and request to be seen by a mental health counselor. If you have thoughts of harming yourself, you must notify the medical staff or the module officer immediately. Library service. Books are available in each module on a book cart for the selection of recreational reading materials and may be obtained during regular program times within your housing module. When finished with a book, return it to the book cart for someone else to read. Legal services. If you are a pro per inmate and in custody on state or federal criminal charges, you are entitled to legal research services provided by Legal Research Associates. Pro per means that you have been designated by the court to represent yourself and serve as your own counsel. All other inmates will take their request to the court-appointed public defender or private attorney. Religious services. The religious programs and services reflect the cultural diversity of Madera County. Currently, there are several active ministries providing pastoral care and services to the general population. If your faith is not represented through one of the active ministries, the facility chaplain can contact the clergy or a faith leader from your religious community to meet individually with you. Any requests for religious services may be sent to the facility chaplain. Exiting the housing unit. Whenever you leave your assigned housing area, you are expected to be fully dressed. Your jail-issued pants, shirts, undershirt, socks, and shoes will be worn. Female inmates must wear a t-shirt and bra beneath their jail clothing. The only items that you are allowed to take with you outside of your module are your module card and legal paperwork. Books, newspapers, pencils, Bibles, and combs are not to be taken with you from your assigned housing area. If you are scheduled for court, you may take your sack lunch, but you will not be permitted to return with it. You are to go directly to and from the other areas of the facility without stopping and talking to others. If you are scheduled for a morning court appearance, it is your responsibility to be ready for transportation by 6 o'clock a.m. Release from facility. When you have finished serving your time or been released from custody by the court, you will receive all of your property that you were booked in with. If you have funds left on your account, You will be issued a debit card that you can use at various stores, banks, etc. Upon exiting the release door, an ATM machine is available for your convenience. If you are being sent to prison, you will have the opportunity for family members to pick up your money via debit card prior to your transportation from the facility. This video has been produced to inform you of your rights, responsibilities, and the services offered to you while you are in custody in the Madera County Department of Corrections.